Hi, and welcome to our summer reading program this year. Like I said, I'm going to start doing a video each week to just explain a little bit to the parents about what we did in the session this week, and also to explain the homework packets that I'm sending home. So we got off to a great start this week. We had the kids build their letter boards, which hopefully they all have at home. I know at least one person did actually bring theirs back and left it here at the program. I think that was Miss Grace. So I have that here if you want to swing by and grab it. Otherwise, I can get it back to you on Monday. But for future reference, we don't need those brought back to the session because we are going to be using the boards that we have made up with the same letters here while the children are participating in the program. So those are just for home practice, the little paper sets that they brought home. And again, if you need more of those sets, let me know. We can get you extra letters. Or also, as I mentioned, if you have games like Scrabble or Bananagrams, you can use those letter tiles in the same way to work on our word building and any activities that we're going to do with those sets. So that's fine as well. Let me quickly go over the papers that I sent home this week. So there were a couple just parent information papers. The first one looked like this. It was just information about the National Reading Panel's findings and the 5 pillars of reading instruction. Again, I just want to make sure that all the parents feel like they're getting some information about how we're teaching the kids and what's important to teach kids when you're teaching reading. So look that over for me. And then the next page that I got was specifically on that first pillar from the National Reading Panel, phonemic awareness. So this is one area that I noticed most of the kids participating this year could use a little bit of help with, even those that are reading fairly well, that are able to read books. They could still use some work on phonemic awareness. So basically, phonemic awareness has to do with hearing the sounds. So it's not just looking at the words and knowing the sounds that those letters make, but it's actually listening to the words and being able to tell me, okay, the first sound in ball is a B. It really helps later on with word attack skills and when the children are trying to decode words that they don't know, being able to sound out those words. And also being able to spell. It's a really big deal for spelling as well. If a child can listen to a word and hear all the sounds that are within that word, that helps them then write those sounds down into letters and at least make a good educated guess about how to spell a word. So phonemic awareness is very, very important, and that's something that we're going to continue to work on throughout the reading program. The first homework paper that I sent home on Monday, the one that looked like this actually addresses phonemic awareness. So I know some of you had started working on these activities with your children at home. Keep that up. Like I said, even those kids that are pretty good at reading books, this is still an excellent activity for them because we really want to make sure those phonemic awareness skills are solid. So there's the pictures and sounds activity that's on this paper that talks about looking through books or magazines and having the child identify a picture and then tell you, okay, what sound is at the beginning of that word. So making sure that they're able to tell you, oh, look, this child is eating a popsicle. Okay, what sound does popsicle begin with? Okay, and again, we want to stress the sounds. If they tell you what letter it is, if they say, oh, popsicle starts with a P, that's right, there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure you then ask them, okay, good, but what is the sound that you hear? It's a P, P, right? Because that's what's going to help them later on down the road when they encounter a word that they don't know how to spell. They need to be able to think, okay, what sound am I hearing? And then what letter does that correspond to? Just in case they don't know already how to spell the word, that's what's going to help them tackle that task. The other activity on that paper was the listening for sounds activity right here, where you should read all 3 words, for example, map, dog, mud, and ask your child to tell you which one of those does not start with the same sound. So that would be dog, right? Map and mud both start with the sound, whereas dog starts with a d. So then being able to listen for those words and identify which one is different, that's another phonemic awareness skill. So that was our first little bit of homework. And again, those are great activities to repeat with your children at home to help strengthen those phonemic awareness skills. So Monday, we also sent home the little letter boards that I already discussed. Some great activities, excuse me, that you can do with those. And this is more geared towards the kids that are still working on building up that speed and confidence with their letter identification. If your child has already got their letters down pretty well and can quickly name off their letters with confidence and no errors, then that's fantastic. These activities that I'm going to talk about right now are more for the kids that are still working on that letter naming. So one really great easy thing you can do, take out all those letters and move them all. It's a little bit hard to do with all these magnets, but move all your letters down just in a random arrangement on the bottom, down below the little letter grid, and then see how quickly your child can move the letters up, match them up, and do them in the right order, because that learning of alphabetical order is really helpful as well. So arrange all the letters in a random order, you know, down on a table, and then have this chart sitting next to them. And okay, go. What comes first? An A. Okay, find your A. There's your A. Okay, what comes next? The B. Find your B. Put your B on. And have them put all those letters matched onto their chart in alphabetical order. Once they get really good with that, you can do that same thing, but also talk about the sounds that the letter makes. So again, you could do it in order and say, okay, find the letter that makes the A. Okay, A. There's our A. Let's put that up. Okay, what comes next? The B. What letter makes the B? So that's kind of tying in that phonemic awareness and that letter awareness all together, which is bridging into the next pillar that we'll talk about next week. That's phonics. Once we start bringing the actual letter, the little, you know, graphic representations into the picture, then that's getting into phonics. The papers that I sent home yesterday on Wednesday. So some of you received papers that looked like this. They're just little printed off letters in a chart. If it's only the letters like this, sorry, this is going to be a little confusing. Some of them look like this. Some of them look like this and have the little foundation symbol up here. And you'll notice the vowels have the little short vowel symbols on them. I'll get to that one in just a second. This one is a little more simple. It's just the letters. So these are more, again, for the kids that are still working on just that letter naming. So the technique for practicing these at home, I'll go over, and that will apply to all the different versions of these papers that I sent home, but I'll go over each one here in just a second. So these are what we call fluency drills, and this is something that I'll send home throughout the program. The purpose of these is to help your child become a little more quick and automatic with the different skills that we're going to be working on. It's really hitting with that fluency, that speed and naturalness and ease of those, you know, letter naming and word reading coming to your child. But when we're doing just these letters to start out with, we're also working on that letter awareness, and then with the sounds, with that phonemic awareness as well. So we're kind of tying in lots of those skills. So what I want you to do, just do this one time a day with your child. It won't take very long. If you are able to get a stopwatch, you can just use a little timer on your phone, or, you know, if you have a little stopwatch, whatever. Have your child sit down and put this on the table, and you're going to tell them, okay, I want you to try to go as fast as you can and tell me what all these letters are. And they're going to go across. So this is similar to one of the parts of the assessment, if you all remember the little assessment that I did with your kids before the program started. They went through and named those letters as quickly as they could. So that's what we're going to be doing with this. So they're just going to go along and say, okay, B, M, Z, I, P, H, O, W, X, as quickly as they can until they get down to the bottom. And then you're going to stop and record that time. You'll see this little box down at the bottom that has all the different places where you can record a time. So each time you do this, I want you to try to have your kids go through it at least 3 times back to back. So tell them how quickly they did it the first time and encourage them to beat their time. We want them to try to get faster with this. So have them go through, go to the end, write down what their time was. If you're able to keep track of how many they got right, that's great too. That's not as important. Obviously, if they get one wrong, correct it for them. Say, oh, nope, that's not a B, that's a D, or whatever they said. But we really want to encourage them to try to be getting faster with these. And with the repetition and you correcting any errors they make, that'll help, correct any errors that they have. So anyway, so you're going to say, okay, let's do it our second time. Go through, okay, B, M, Z, I, P, H. Record how long it takes them to get through all of them on your second box and say, nice job. This time you only did it in, 50 seconds, however long it takes them. If it takes them longer, well, just encourage them to try to keep going faster and that they'll get better with it as they go along. So like I said, try to do that at least 3 times. If you can get them to go 4 times, great. But that's it for the day. So just do that. It doesn't take up a whole lot of time, just a few minutes. And if you can do that once a day for the next few days, that'll really help to start increasing your child's skills with these. So again, if you got one that looks like that, that's just naming the letters. So saying K, B, C, R, whatever. Okay, so that's that one. Now, if you got the one that looks like this, that has the little owl up here, and it's still single letters, mostly single letters, except for our Q, U. And then you'll notice that the vowels have the little short vowel symbols on them. So if you have one like this, I want that child to be doing the sounds. So that same activity, but this time with the sounds. So instead of saying B, Q, R, F, they're going to say B, Q, R, T. And again, with the vowel sounds, we want that short vowel sound. So ah, eh, I, ah, and when they see those short vowels. So that's how you do that same activity with these. And again, encourage them to do it as fast as they can, record their times, and see if they can beat their times each time they do it. And then we also have some that look like this, which are just short 3-letter words. So the same thing. Encourage them to do as quickly as they can. Read those words: sad, map, mad, mat. Go through, time them, and encourage them to beat their time every time they do that. So those are our fluency drills. So that is the main bit of homework that I sent home this week. If any of you did not get these papers, I think I had an extra left over yesterday that I wasn't planning on. I maybe just made too many copies. Just in case you need more of these, get in touch with me. Let me know. You can either swing by and pick up another copy, or if you want, I can just email you a copy of them. If you have a printer at home and are able to print it out, I can just send you that file and you can print it out at home. So